Hey friends, here's another cookbook update. So I realized the other day that I was at a point where I needed to start planning the rest of the recipes that I'll test and shoot. I needed to map it out because previous to that, for the last several months, I've just been each week picking out 4 recipes from the full list. And that was working until it didn't work, and I realized there are some things I need to shop for that are not available where I live, and there are a handful of recipes, a large handful of recipes that I've actually never cooked before. So most of these recipes are things that I've done over and over, but these remaining ones are kind of new to me, and I think I was subconsciously pushing them and not picking them. So now I'm at this point where I've got the handful of recipes, like 3 months worth really of recipes that I either have never done or require ingredients that I don't have available here in Nacogdoches where I live. So on Monday I did a big shop in Houston and I got the vast majority of meats that I'll need for the rest of the book. We no longer have a goat rancher here. We had 2 when I first moved here, and that was great for a while, but I had fun cooking goat here and there when we had that available. But come time to do the book and start the book, they actually, both of them, phased out doing goat, and yeah, they're just both only now doing lamb and beef. So anyway, I had to go to a halal market, one that I had actually been to before in like North Houston, and that's a great place to source lamb and goat. I'm not gonna say you'll be able to find grass-fed if that's what you're interested in, but the halal butcher process is pretty interesting. They have a different way of, and a different philosophy around the actual dispatching of the livestock, so that's something you could look into if you're interested. But I always have a great experience with halal meats, so, and they do typically have goat because they eat less beef. I think maybe don't eat beef at all, but correct me if I'm wrong. This market did have beef, but I don't think they were strictly halal. They had just options available, but the goat and lamb that they have was halal. So yes, I've always been really satisfied with that product, and so I was able to get some goat for Maria, and I can't remember the other goat recipe anyway. And so yeah, I was able to also get some other harder to find ingredients, and this past weekend I mapped everything out. Like, I printed out calendars and pretty much hashed out, like, assigned recipes to each week in the month. And it's been a relief because now I know exactly what I'm doing and how long it's going to take me, which of course I had a ballpark like kind of week that I would be finished with shooting and testing. But now that I've mapped it out and assigned everything to each week, I know I'll be on target, and it felt really good actually to map it all out and see it there. I felt very adult and organized to have done that. And yeah, so that was Monday. I went and did the bigger shop, and I brought my daughter with me, and we had a fun day. And then yeah, she always loves going to Central Market, which is where I got a bunch of stuff. And yeah, it's just a really fun store to go to. I love Central Market. And so then on Tuesday and Wednesday this week, I did recipe testing and shooting. And I don't know what's been different, but I think I've either been going slower in the mornings, or these recipes, like I said, are ones that I just like haven't done before. So they're taking me a little longer, they're taking me more time to test, and then by the time I get ready to shoot, it's like time to bring my daughter to her ballet or whatever music, and then I've got to take this 1.5 to 2 hour break to bring her into town and then wait on her and come back, and then I can finish after. But when I've done that, I'm not getting into bed until 11 and I'm just working pretty much till 10 and then cleaning up. So I hope I don't have to do that for a lot more days. That was a long day. I had 2 long days in a row and it wiped me out. Oh my goodness. Like today I am just wiped out, and it's kind of rainy weather and kind of cold, even though it's like almost mid-May here. It's usually really hot by now, but yeah, I just felt cold and like I just wanted to go to sleep. But needless to say, everything's going smooth. What else do I want to say? I'm thinking like who are the kinds of people that are watching these videos. Maybe they're people who are interested in writing cookbooks or have written cookbooks and are interested in other people's process. But I have not spoken to my editor since signing the contract, which was in October, and now it is May. I haven't heard a word from her. I was thinking of reaching out just to do a check-in, but I guess it's pretty typical to not hear much until like a few months before you would submit the book. So I should be hearing from her soon, I think. Maybe I'll reach out, but yeah, I guess there's just not a whole lot to discuss at this point. It's just a lot of work, and yeah, she'll probably want to, I don't know, just hash out where I'm at, or like kind of see some things, I guess, before I submit. I'm not sure what to expect because this is my first go. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to report. Yeah, maybe I'll just say like, oh, I will say this, that diving into these recipes that I hadn't done before, I felt apprehensive about a few of them, like not excited about them. I think not because they're bad, no, but just because I didn't know what to expect. And I just thought for some of them I filled this spot of like, oh, I needed more from that cuisine, or I needed more of that food group. So like, for example, I tested this Japanese rice dish yesterday, and I really wanted to include it because it's using medium grain Japanese rice, which isn't in any of the other recipes. So I thought that's an important type of rice to really understand how to cook outside of sushi, which is kind of a straightforward process. But this one is like incorporating, so cook the rice with the stock, but it's incorporating meat and vegetables in it. And I wasn't sure what to expect, but I just went through the recipe, and like when we were eating it last night, it was so good. Like, I'm just gonna keep saying this and you guys can laugh at me, but you know, this is one of these recipes that is traditional, just like all the recipes in the book. They are standards. They are recipes that have a name, because when you say the name, you know what dish it's going to be, and you sort of know what to expect and how it's been cooked for many, many years. And again, it was just so good. It was just so good. It just was delicious and quite simple to make, but I just fell in love with it. And that's like, it's fun because that's what often makes the picture, like taking the photograph of it, joyful, because it's like you're eating it and going to show it visually to people. It's like, what do I want to stand out about this dish, and like, how can I present it in a way that will make people feel like the way that I feel when I'm eating it, because I don't have anything else to go by, but other than like, you know, when I'm eating this dish, like this one I made last night, the Japanese rice, it's with mushrooms, mainly with mushrooms. Mushrooms is a staple part of it, and you can add meat optionally, and I did chicken, and it was just so lovely. Like, I got these beautiful mushrooms from Central Market, and a feature of this dish is that it's quite seasonal, so the vegetables that you're putting in there would be to the season. And so I was just at Central Market, and they had all of these beautiful mushrooms, like just different varieties that you wouldn't normally see apart from more common ones. Like, I don't know if you've been to Central Market, but they will have these seasonal options kind of as like a special area and have like a beautiful variety of them. And so it was kind of in the center part of the produce area, and there must have been like 20 different types of mushrooms, many of which I had never really either heard of or actually seen in person. Like, I'd seen pictures of them maybe, but not seen them in person. And a lot of them were these smaller, kind of, they have like a button size top to them and like a longer stem, these kind of more delicate mushrooms, and many different varieties of those. And yeah, I just bought a couple that I thought looked good, and they taste so much better than those white mushrooms at the store. I don't even know what those are anymore. Yeah, to me, they just haven't been, like, regular white mushrooms and cremini mushrooms haven't been tasting good to me. And I thought, maybe I don't like mushrooms, but I know people love mushrooms, so I have to include them in the book. But in buying these special varieties and cooking them, I fell back in love with mushrooms. I thought they were really good. So yeah, yeah, that's a fun tip. Buy different varieties of things. If you think you don't like a vegetable, buy a different variety of it, or something that's unusual at a farmer's market or wherever. But yeah, that's it for today, friends, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.